Hello, welcome to Election Night 2020. Tonight we have a number of very high stakes battles that will be fought over the course of the next 12 to 15 hours, and we will be covering it for you all live on MSNBC. Firstly, we'll be taking a look at the race for the presidency. Joe Biden came out of a battle with Senator Bernie Sanders and a bunch of other candidates in the Democratic primary. He's taking on the incumbent President Donald Trump. It will be very interesting to see who comes out on top in the race for the presidency. Biden is leading in nationwide polls by about 3%, but it's anyone's game in the swing states. In the election 2020, there's a race for the Senate control. We have Mitch McConnell on the Republican side, Chuck Schumer on the Democratic side, going for control of the U.S. Senate. For the race for the House of Representatives, Nancy Pelosi, the current Speaker of the House, is vying to remain Speaker against against Kevin McCarthy, who is the Republican Minority Leader. And for governors, National Governors Association, the leader for the Democrats is Andrew Cuomo of New York. The leader for the Republicans is Larry Hogan of Maryland. And so let's get right into it. Right now at the top of the hour, 7 Eastern, we have 6 states where their polls are closing. In the presidency, we can project Joe Biden will win in Vermont. In Kentucky, we can project Donald Trump, the winner in Kentucky. Indiana will also go to the current president. In South Carolina, Donald Trump will take their electoral college votes. In the Senate race in Virginia, we have an early projection. Mark Warner will be re-elected. In South Carolina, Lindsey Graham re-elected in South Carolina. In the race for the House, in the state of Vermont, their lone representative will be from the Democratic Party. In the state of Virginia, the Democrats will win 6 out of the 11, 6-5 in favor of the Democrats. Democrats in the majority from the House delegation from Virginia. Indiana, Republicans in the gains in Indiana. South Carolina, 5 out of 6 in South Carolina. In the state of Kentucky, the Republicans continuing to hold on to 5 out of 6 of their congressional districts there. In the state of Georgia, 9 out of the 14 will go to the Republicans with Kevin McCarthy. In the governor's race in Indiana, Eric Holcomb will be re-elected governor in Indiana. In Vermont, a blue state, but will go to the incumbent Phil Scott, the Republican there. Right now, it's too close to call in Georgia in the presidential race. Biden versus Trump. Trump leading in Georgia. This went to Trump in 2016. Virginia, the Senate race has been called for Mr. Warner, but Joe Biden has not pulled out a win yet, 50-48 in favor of him. In the state of Kentucky, this is a highly fought battle. Democrats will have to see how this one goes. Mitch McConnell right now leading his Democratic opponent Amy McGrath in the Kentucky Senate race. In Georgia, we have another Senate race here. David Perdue is the incumbent. He's running against John Ossoff, the Democrat. In the state of Georgia, we have another election. This is the special election. We have Kelly Loeffler versus Warnock. Loeffler was under fire because she sold stocks under private information during COVID-19. In the race for the presidency right now, it's the race to 270, currently under Republican control. Trump leading 28-3. In the race for the Senate, the race to 51, 36-31 in favor of the Democrats. For the race for the House, 16 for Nancy Pelosi, 32 for Kevin McCarthy. In the governor's races, 21 for Larry Hogan, 20 for Andrew Cuomo. Right now it's the bottom of the hour. It's 7:30 p.m. Eastern, and we have quite a few major projections to make. In West Virginia, we can project Donald J. Trump is the winner in West Virginia. No surprise there. Okay. In West Virginia, the Senate race there, Shelley Moore Capito, re-elected senator from West Virginia, Richard Ojeda coming out of a primary with Paula Jean Swearingen. However, it is Shelley Moore Capito coming out in West Virginia, and in the House delegation from West Virginia, all 3 seats going to the Republicans. In Ohio, 4 out of the 16 seats going to the Democrats, the rest going to the Republicans. The Republicans favored in Ohio. They're also favored in North Carolina, Democrats with 6, even after the redistricting. Republicans hang on in North Carolina. In the West Virginia governor's race, we have a projection. We can now project Jim Justice will be re-elected governor of West Virginia. In North Carolina, we can now have a major projection that Roy Cooper in the North Carolina governor's race will be re-elected. This is a major projection. That's the governor's race, not the Senate race. And sorry for that incorrect graphic. In the North Carolina presidential race, many races here in North Carolina that are very competitive. Almost 50% for Joe Biden, 48% for Donald Trump. In Ohio, Trump leading 53 to 46 in the state of Ohio. In North Carolina, this is one of the most highly contentious Senate races here. Cal Cunningham, the Democrat, going up against Tom Tillis, the Republican. Cunningham losing that battle right now. In the race for the presidency, right now, Trump extending his lead 33 to Biden's 3. In the race for Senate control, 36 for Chuck Schumer, 32 for Mitch McConnell. In the race for the House, 26 for Nancy Pelosi, 57 for Kevin McCarthy. In the governor's races, we can project 22 for Larry Hogan, 21 for Andrew Cuomo. Right now, we're back at the top of the hour, 8 Eastern. Right now, we have a lot of projections to get to, so bear with us. So we're going to start with the presidential races, followed by the Senate races, followed by the House races, followed by the governor's races. But we've got a lot of projections to get to at the top of the hour, which is right now. We can project in Illinois, projecting Joe Biden, the winner in Illinois. Joe Biden is the projected winner in Maine. The at-large Maine, Joe Biden will win there. Also, he will win in the 1st Congressional District in Maine. So 3 out of the 4 electoral votes in that state. In the state of Massachusetts, Joe Biden will win in Massachusetts. He won the primary there. Rhode Island, Joe Biden, the winner in Rhode Island. In Connecticut, Joe Biden will win in Connecticut. In New Jersey, Cory Booker was campaigning for him just the other day here. Joe Biden wins in New Jersey. Delaware, his home state, Joe Biden will win Delaware, and he will also take Maryland. Joe Biden taking Maryland, which is the home state of the Republican leader for the governors. And in Washington, D.C., Biden takes their 3 electoral votes. In Oklahoma, we can project Trump will win in Oklahoma. In Alabama, Donald Trump winning in Alabama. He also takes Tennessee. Trump will win Tennessee. He snatches Mississippi. Trump wins in Mississippi. There's a interesting Senate race there in Mississippi. Whoops, sorry about that. Missouri, Donald Trump will take in Missouri. Illinois, Dick Durbin will be re-elected, the senator in Illinois. In Massachusetts, Ed Markey, re-elected in Massachusetts. Rhode Island, Jack Reed will be re-elected in the state of Rhode Island. In New Jersey, Cory Booker will be re-elected after his failed presidential campaign. The state of Delaware will re-elect Chris Coons as their senator. In New Hampshire, this is a major projection here. New Hampshire, a swing state, it has thumpingly re-elected Jeanne Shaheen as their senator. This was expected to be close, but she takes it at the top of the hour. A big victory in New Hampshire for Senator Jeanne Shaheen. In Mississippi, Cindy Hyde-Smith, another early call that was projected to be close. Cindy Hyde-Smith projected to win in Mississippi. Tennessee, Bill Hagerty will win in the Tennessee Senate race. That was an open race there. In Oklahoma, Jim Inhofe, either it was him or it was the other Oklahoma senator, famous for being the senator from Oklahoma who was the one who could be perceived to be against climate change, gets himself re-elected. Kentucky, Mitch McConnell will be re-elected in Kentucky. This is a major projection here. We can project Mitch McConnell beating Amy McGrath, so he maintains his role as Republican Senate leader. In the state of Georgia, this is another big victory. David Perdue trounces Jon Ossoff in the Senate race in Georgia, a major victory for the Republicans. Let's go through the House. Different delegations from each state. In Illinois, we can project that Democrats will win in Illinois. Massachusetts, they clean sweep in Massachusetts. All 9 districts electing Democrats to the House. Rhode Island, their 2 congressional members will be from the Democratic Party. Same in Connecticut, another clean sweep by the Democrats in Connecticut. They also win in Delaware. In New Jersey, there's actually one flip here, one flip in New Jersey, but other than that, Democrats hold on in New Jersey. In the state of Maryland, we can project one of the districts does go to the Republicans, but everyone else is clean sweep by the Democrats. In New Hampshire, this is a major projection. Both of these seats are quite competitive. Both go to the Democrats. This is not looking good for the Republicans right now. In Maine, we can project it's a split decision right now. We can project there is a flip over to the Republicans, so that's a split decision there. So both Nancy Pelosi, we just had to put someone on the graphic there, but it's a split decision there in Maine. Right now, we can project in Pennsylvania, Republicans will hang on to the majority there in the state of Pennsylvania. In Florida, this is a major projection here. Again, Republicans narrowly hanging on in Florida. In Missouri, Republicans win in Missouri. There was a fierce primary battle, by the way, on the Democratic side in the 1st Congressional District in Missouri between Cori Bush and William Lacey Clay. Very interesting. Lacey Clay, again, narrowly coming out on top. In Oklahoma, Kevin McCarthy and the Republicans win in Oklahoma. There's a gain, 1 seat gain there for the Republicans. In Alabama, we can project right now the Republicans hanging on in Alabama. In Mississippi, Republicans win in Mississippi. In Tennessee, we can project Republicans will also hang on in the state of Tennessee. We can also project in the Delaware governor's race, John Carney gets himself re-elected as governor of governor of Delaware. And again, very sorry for these graphic errors. In New Hampshire, we can project Chris Sununu will be re-elected governor, not senator, of the state of New Hampshire. In Missouri, we can also project the governor there will be Mike Parsons, so not the senator, the governor there. In Florida, this is a major swing state. Joe Biden right now 52.9 to 47.0. Biden, there's a lot of Republican counties that have yet to come in, so we'll see if Biden can hang on in Florida. In the state of Pennsylvania right now, we have 0 precinct reporting. This is expected to be a hotly contested state. The state of New Hampshire right now, Joe Biden leading Donald Trump in New Hampshire. In the state of Maine, we can say that Joe Biden is behind in the 2nd Congressional District in Maine. In the Senate race in Maine, this is very highly contested here. Sarah Gideon, the Speaker of the House in Maine, going up against Suzanne Collins, so kind of like Nancy Pelosi versus Donald Trump on the national level. Right now, Maine Senate race, very competitive right now in the state of Maine. In Alabama right now, Doug Jones, Jeff Sessions going head-to-head here. This is expected to be a Republican pickup, but right now Jones is leading his Republican rival. In the race for the presidency right now, Joe Biden with 78 Electoral College votes, Donald Trump with 76. In the race for Senate control right now, Chuck Schumer leading Mitch McConnell 42 to 37. In the race for the House, we can currently project Nancy Pelosi behind Kevin McCarthy 93 to 117. For the governors, 24 Republican governors and 22 Democratic governors. Right now it's the bottom of the hour, 8:30 Eastern, and we have one state with quite a few projections. But firstly, this is a major projection here, Virginia. We can now project Joe Biden will win in Virginia. This was a swing state. Now we have enough information to project it for the former vice president. State of Arkansas. Donald Trump will win in Arkansas as expected, and Tom Cotton will win the Arkansas Senate race in that state. Right now, Arkansas, the members of the House, we can now see there has been a Republican pickup, so they clean sweep in Arkansas. The presidency right now, currently under Republican control, obviously, 91 for Joe Biden, 82 for Donald Trump. In the Senate, 42 for Chuck Schumer, 38 for Mitch McConnell. In the race for the House, 121 for Kevin McCarthy, 93 for Speaker Pelosi, and for governors, no change there. Right now, we're back at the top of the hour. It's 9 Eastern right now, and again, we have many projections to get to right now. So let's get going with that. Firstly, in New Mexico, Joe Biden wins the presidential race in New Mexico. In New York, we can project Joe Biden will win in New York. In the state of Louisiana, Donald Trump will win in Louisiana. He will take Kansas, and he will also take Nebraska, building a red wall across the middle of the country. He takes Nebraska at large. He takes Nebraska's 1st district and Nebraska's 3rd district. We'll come back to the 2nd a little bit later. In the state of North Dakota, Trump wins North Dakota and also South Dakota and Wyoming. That trio of states going to Trump. Texas, Donald Trump wins Texas. Democrats had hoped, but no, Trump will take Texas. He also takes the 2nd district in Maine. The 2nd district in Maine going to Donald Trump. In the state of New Mexico, right now this was an open race, but Ben Ray Lujan wins the New Mexico Senate race. In Minnesota, we can project Tina Smith wins re-election in Minnesota. In Louisiana, Bill Cassidy will take in Louisiana. In the state of Texas, we can now project John Cornyn. John Cornyn will win re-election. In the state of Kansas, this is the governor's race here. This is the Senate race, I believe. Chris Kobach will be the new senator from Kansas. In Nebraska, Ben Sasse wins in the state of Nebraska. In Wyoming, the state of Wyoming, Cynthia Loomis, this was an open seat, wins the Senate race in Wyoming. In South Dakota, Mike Rounds, the Republican incumbent, wins in South Dakota. In the state of Minnesota, South Dakota goes Republican, Minnesota goes Democratic. Nancy Pelosi holding on in Minnesota. In New York right now, the House says New York overwhelmingly going to the Democratic Party. New Mexico, Democrats clean sweep with one pickup in the state of New Mexico. In the state of Colorado, right now 4 for the Democrats, 3 for the Republicans, holding in Colorado. They're also holding in Arizona, 5-4 in favor of the Democrats. In Wisconsin right now, we can project the Republicans will win 5-3 their congressional districts in Wisconsin. They also take Michigan. They will win 8-6 in the state of Michigan. We can also project that Louisiana. Sorry about that. It's been quite a long recording here. But the state of Louisiana, the House there, 5-1 for the Republicans. In Texas, we can now project that in the state of Texas, that graphic's actually incorrect. The Republicans win in Texas. The graphic is wrong. The sides are meant to be swapped around there in Texas. In the state of Kansas, 3-1 in favor of the Republicans, and also there in Nebraska. The Republicans will win in Nebraska and also in North Dakota with their 1 congressional district, South Dakota with 1, and Wyoming with 1. All go to the Republicans. Take a look at this North Dakota governor race. Doug Burgum gets himself re-elected as North Dakota governor. Moving on to the swing states right now. Arizona. Right now, Biden and Trump are all tied up at 50% apiece. This is a Republican 2016 state. In Colorado, expected to go for the Democrats. Right now, too close to call. Biden with a pretty good lead on Trump there. In the state of Michigan, Joe Biden right now narrowly leading Trump in a state that Trump carried as an upset in 2016. In the state of Wisconsin right now, there's a lot of Democratic precincts still to be reported. Right now, Trump leading in Wisconsin by a pretty good margin. Minnesota, right now we can project Joe Biden is leading in Minnesota. Sorry, that's a Democratic 2016 state. Tina Smith looks like she's also going to take the re-election there. In the state of Colorado, right now Andrew Romanoff, who won the primary in an upset against Governor John Hickenlooper, right now leading Cory Gardner. Right now we can project that in Michigan, Gary Peters is leading Republican rival John James. Another hotly contested Senate race in Arizona. Mark Kelly right now leading Martha McSally in the state of Arizona. In the race for the presidency right now, Trump leading Biden 148 to 125. Right now in the Senate, right now Democrats and Republicans both have 44 Senate seats on their corners. In the race for the House control, Kevin McCarthy right now 182 House seats to Pelosi's 160. Sorry about the graphic being a bit slow there. In the race for, in the race for the House, right now we can project the governors right now. Governors 25 to 22 there for the governors. Okay, 10 p.m. Eastern, it's the top of the hour. Once again, right now 4 states have closed their polls. And in the presidential race, we can project Donald Trump will win in Utah. He will also take Montana, no surprises here. But right now, this is a major projection here. Gary Peters will be re-elected senator from the state of Michigan. In Colorado, we can project Andrew Romanoff will win the Senate race in Colorado. In the state of Georgia, this was hotly contested. Democrats had hoped as Kelly Loeffler had a massive scandal around her, but Kelly Loeffler narrowly gets herself re-elected in a presidential year. In the state of Alabama, another massive pickup for the Republicans. Jeff Sessions beating Democratic incumbent Doug Jones in the state of Alabama. In Utah, the state of Utah, right now we can project Kevin McCarthy will win in Utah. In Iowa, actually, right now, Democrats hanging on in Iowa in their congressional districts. Same thing in Nevada. And in Montana, Greg Gianforte winning the House seat in Montana. In Utah, the governor's race there, Gary Herbert gets himself re-elected as Utah's governor. Take a look at this Montana governor race. This is a major upset. Mike Cooney will win the Montana governor race. He was the lieutenant governor under the popular governor Steve Bullock. Right now, Mike Cooney, this is a major upset here. Mike Cooney wins the governor's race in Montana. That's quite big news there in Montana. The state of Nevada, Joe Biden right now leading Donald Trump in the Nevada presidential race. In Iowa, we can say Trump leading Biden in Iowa. However, it's important to note Teresa Greenfield leading the incumbent Joni Ernst in the Iowa Senate race. This could be very, very interesting. Democrats have been targeting Joni Ernst across the 2020 calendar. In the Montana Senate race, we can say that right now there has been no projections in terms of the vote cast. Steve Bullock, Steve Daines look like they're in a competitive race. In the race for the presidency right now, 157 electoral votes for Donald Trump, 125 for former Vice President Biden. Okay, in the race for Senate control, 46 apiece for both camps in Senate control. The race for the House, right now we can say Kevin McCarthy right now leading Speaker Pelosi. In the race for the House, we're still waiting on California, which could tilt things. And for governors, this is a major projection here. Larry Hogan, with his Republican coalition, with the projected wins in Utah, we can now safely project Republicans will keep control of the NGA. The NGA Governor Larry Hogan will remain the leader. He's a Republican, not a Democrat, so that's just a graphical error there. Race for the NGA, Republican control. Right now, it's the top of the hour, and we have many major projections to get to, so let's get going with it. California, Joe Biden wins California's 55 electoral votes. In Oregon, Joe Biden will take Oregon along with its sister state, Washington. Washington will go to Joe Biden, as well as Hawaii going to the former vice president. And this is a major projection here. New Hampshire goes to Joe Biden, a major projection there for the former vice president. We can also project Nevada. Nevada will go to Joe Biden, along with the state of Colorado will also go to the former vice president. Joe Biden's on a bit of a winning streak here because he's just won Minnesota. Biden will take Minnesota. Trump counters with Georgia. Donald Trump will take Georgia and its 16 electoral votes. Ohio, a major swing state now being called a GOP state. Trump wins Ohio. Trump also wins Iowa. Major projection here. Trump wins Iowa, and he will win Idaho as well with its 4 electoral votes. Right now, let's move on to some Senate projections here. Jeff Merkley will be the re-elected senator from Oregon, and in Idaho, Jim Risch will be projected Idaho senator as re-elected. In California, take a look at all that blue. Democrats have managed to win California once again. Right now in California, there's only five GOP districts. Nancy Pelosi will take California, and with those we will get to a major projection very shortly. In Hawaii, we can project Democrats win both of their districts. Oregon, 4 out of 5 will go to the Democrats. There's an interesting movement for that one district to actually be combined into Idaho and leave Oregon, but that's very interesting, and won't have time for that. In Washington right now, 7-3 Democrats win in Washington, and in Idaho there, Kevin McCarthy winning in Idaho. Right now in the Washington governor's race, Jay Inslee has been projected to win re-election in the race for the presidency. Joe Biden hitting the Hillary Clinton benchmark, 232 electoral votes to Donald Trump's 201. In the race for the Senate, 48-47 for Chuck Schumer. Schumer now leading the race for Senate control. And this is a major projection here. We can now project with 227, which is 9 above the magic number. Right now we can project Nancy Pelosi will remain as Speaker, and the Democrats will remain in control of the House. In the race for governors right now, we can also have another projected winner here. Larry Hogan will win the Republicans with the governors there. Right now, it's the top of the hour, right now, midnight Eastern Standard Time, and we have a major projection right now. Florida will go to Donald Trump. We can project their 29 electoral votes all going to the incumbent president. And right now, take a look at this, 232 for Joe Biden. Trump is just right there, caught up right then and there with Biden. And there you see the race for Senate, House, and governors all have not changed. Moving through, right now it's the top of the hour, 1 a.m. Eastern. It's Alaska's turn to vote. But firstly, we have this major, crucial projection. Right now, Pennsylvania will go to Joe Biden. This is a major projection here. Pennsylvania, Democrats had hoped, and they heavily campaigned here. Joe Biden wins in Pennsylvania, and then Alaska goes to Donald Trump there. However, Trump counters with North Carolina. Trump needed North Carolina to have any shot at winning. He gets it. North Carolina goes to Donald Trump. Arizona, he also needs Arizona in order to win, and he gets Arizona as well. Arizona and its 11 electoral votes goes to Trump. Nebraska, a major projection here, the 2nd district, will go to Donald Trump. This is a major projection here. Take a look at this. Mark Kelly will upset Martha McSally and beat her in the Arizona Senate race right now. This is a Democratic pickup. And in the Alaska Senate race, we can project Dan Sullivan will win that. This is a major projection here. Take a look at this. Susan Collins, take a look at this, will win Maine's Senate re-election. She has been sent to Washington for, I believe, the 4th or 5th time, despite her votes on Kavanaugh, despite her votes on impeachment. She has been projected to win her re-election by the slimmest of margins. She has been re-elected as Maine Senator. Okay, now moving on to the House, we can project Alaska will send their sole representative as a Republican. Okay, take a look at this. This is a nail biter right now. Joe Biden at 252 electoral votes. Donald Trump at 260 electoral college votes. Right now where we stand, we've got Michigan outstanding and we've got Wisconsin outstanding. Trump needs 1 out of those 2 states. Biden needs to go for Michigan and Wisconsin. So you could say the path is easier for Trump. We'll have to just wait and see. In the race for Senate, we're at 49-49. So again, this is another nail biter in the race for Senate. And for the House, we can project Nancy Pelosi hanging on as Speaker, and for governors right now, 26-24, Republicans winning more governorships than Democrats. Right now, take a look at this. It's 3 a.m. Eastern. It's the top of the hour. We're all getting tired here over in Washington and New York. But right now, we can project Michigan. Take a look at this. Michigan, this is a major flip. Joe Biden will win in Michigan. This means he just needs to win Wisconsin, and it's all over for the former vice president. So we have come down to Wisconsin, but we've also, for Senate control, Joni Ernst, this is another major projection. Take a look at this. Joni Ernst will win re-election as Iowa Senator, along with Steve Daines. He faced a challenge from Steve Bullock. It was a battle of the Steves. The Steve Daines won over Steve Bullock. In the race for the presidency, right now, Trump is not the projected winner. Right now, we can say Joe Biden, 268 to 260. It should actually be on Biden because he has more electoral votes than Trump. In Senate control, 51-49 in favor of Mitch McConnell. In the race for the House, right now, we can project Nancy Pelosi winning over the Republicans led by Kevin McCarthy, and the governor's races have no change. Right now, take a look at this. It's 8 o'clock on the East right now. It's the next morning, and they've been counting votes all night in Wisconsin. It's come right down to the wire, 0.1%. And take a look at this. Whoever is on this projection will be the next president of the United States. And right now, take a look at this major projection here. Donald Trump will win in Wisconsin. He will take the 10 electoral college votes, which means the presidency has been won. There was a graphical error right back then, so that kind of ruined it there. But 270 to 268, Donald Trump will win the presidency of the United States. Take a look at this. He has been re-elected President of the United States. For the Senate, 51-49, Republicans keep the Senate as well. In the race for the House, the Democrats have kept control of the House, and in the race for governors, right now we can project Larry Hogan, and the Republicans will hang on in the governor's races. Okay, this took a long time to record, and it took a long time to make, and it has been heavily requested. Let's just go back to the very first slide right now. 241 slides here, so quite a long time there to make. So yeah, so thank you so very much for watching this video. I highly hope that you enjoyed it. Likely this will be split up into 2 parts, just to, keep the suspense so I can have a few more days upload. But that's it for today's video, guys. Thank you so much for watching, and I will see you all in the next one. Thank you, and good night.